Well, in conclusion, what can I say? I know I've said some kind of wacky things. Please don't be shocked. I might believe something completely different next week, and I am totally open to the idea that I am wrong. I know that thinking that one is right in their opinions is one of the most persistent illusions that human beings are susceptible to. Everybody thinks that all the opinions that they have are right, even though everybody else has the opinions and they all think they're right too. So logically, I must assume that my opinions are wrong. And my conviction that they are right is an illusion. I wish everybody else thought that way too, but maybe that's wrong too. I think a real dilemma that all creative people face, and this doesn't apply to artists, applies to anybody that is part of their job is problem solving and trying to come up with better ways of doing things. That is creativity. Um, is on one side uh, indulging in what people have learned before you and having that knowledge steal from you whatever your individuality might bring to the table. It's a really delicate balance, and it's a problem that a lot of educators throughout the years have tried to solve. Um, I think probably the best protection against becoming a parrot um, is to expose yourself to as much information as possible. I think when students are young, I don't know if it's a matter of inexperience or the fact of being young, but there can be usually very strong influence. Um, and as a person gets older and is exposed to more things, um, either the number of influences grows, so you can't see any one particular influence too strongly, or maybe a young person is, well, it's just a function of being young. Um, I think getting really confused sometime is a good idea. If I know one unpleasant side effect of exposure to new things is that your work will often take a dive for a while as you're flooded with new information and new ways of thinking about things. It's very confusing, and it takes a long time until you can integrate those new ideas into yourself and into your work. But it can be a trying time on one's confidence. Um, and really, you should be constantly cramming as much stuff into your brain as you can, as opposed to um, becoming stagnant and then doing the same thing over and over until you're really good at it. And I felt that that's kind of been a problem with my work, and it's so easy to fall into that trap as a commercial artist. Fine artists probably, by their very nature, don't have that big of a problem with it, but the pull of marketable facility, um, just the very conservatism of when you invest large amounts of money in a project, you have to be highly reliable, and that means becoming very reliable, and that means doing the same thing over and over and over until you get really good at it. But that to me is 180 degrees from what the root of art is all about. So what I would hope to never hear is, well, it doesn't. This piece of art doesn't work because you broke these rules. 1, 2, 3, 4. As I pointed out earlier, since I can find successful art that does break those rules, the rules logically are not wrong. Probably most accurately, they're incomplete, and they're not really suitable guides for the creation of art. Um, if people know they are incomplete and you can use them and consider them, but I don't, maybe rules or guidelines is not really quite the right term to use. Um, if you are working within a genre of art, then yes, you have to follow certain rules. If you're doing a book cover, a movie poster, there are certain things that people absolutely expect. And you can experiment with making a new form of a movie poster, but you're not going to get very far in a production environment. It's going back to the sandbox again. Um, but so in summation, if this entire lecture, if what I would like for you to take away from it is don't lose what really got you into this in the first place. It wasn't deadlines, it wasn't selling soap, it was the art. And a big part of that art is a steep learning curve. That is where you'll probably be the happiest overall, and certainly at the end of your life, you'll be a more accomplished person and seen more terrain and thought of more interesting things. But just beware that the grind of the commercial world is pulling you back from all those things, and you have to learn how to balance those out and absolutely schedule it. Don't just say, yeah, I'll go to Life Drawing next week and, I'll play around with some gouache resist and maybe some monoprints next month. Well, schedule time. Don't pencil it in. Write it in pen into the old schedule. So it's been a pleasure doing these, and hope to do something else like this another time. Thank you very much for listening.